Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Now we've got another Alpina for you today, and I think you're really gonna like it. Today we have the Alpina Startimer 100 meter automatic chronograph, and this is model number AL-725N4S6. And as usual, we're gonna open this thing up, look at all the features and functions, check out the build quality, wearability, and lume, and then I'll let you know what I think of this pretty quintessential pilot watch from Alpina. Also, make sure you check out my Amazon shopping channel for all of my favorite watches I've reviewed on this channel, and be sure to visit my Teespring merch store and pick yourself up a t-shirt or a mug. Both of those links will be in the description field for you. So here you go, just like the Alpina X I reviewed, I guess about a week or so ago. Really nice outer watch box, nice and solid. Super nice inner watch box. Here's all your literature at the bottom. You get your big, thick manual written in multiple different languages, and you get your warranty pamphlet right there on top. So there you go. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. Let's get this out of the way. I like this outer watch box too. I like the Alpina X. It's the same exact watch box. Nice. All right, there's the Startimer. Good looking watch. I mean, this is like the perfect pilot watch, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. I like it, but you know, it doesn't really like stir the soul. I mean, it's just so well made and so perfect. It's almost too perfect, if that makes any sense. All right, let's take it off its watch pillow here. Here is the tag. There you go. All right. I'll go ahead and put up all the specs on the left-hand side of the screen, just like normal. And then we'll talk more about this thing, man. Good looking watch though. All right, you're looking at a 44 millimeter stainless steel case. It's 14.7 millimeters thick. It's 51 millimeters lug to lug. It's on a 22 millimeter leather strap. You do get a sapphire crystal with an AR coating. It's water resistant to 100 meters, which is 330 feet. It's got the AL-725 movement. Basically, Alpina took an ETA Valjoux 7750 and kind of made it their own. You do get a 46-hour power reserve. You've got a screw-down case back. You do have the date over there at 3 o'clock, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. You do not have a day function. You do have a screw-down crown also over there at 3 o'clock. You've got pushers at 2 and 4. It is windable. Now, hackable is a little bit tricky because you don't have a running seconds hand, so I guess you could, but you really wouldn't know what you were doing. You do get Super Luminova. The bezel is fixed, and of course, it is made in Switzerland. So guys, what you're actually looking at is a Citizen watch. You're like, what? Wait a minute, hold on. I thought this was made in Switzerland by Alpina. It is, but Alpina is actually owned by Frederic Constant, or Constant, I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it, which in turn is actually owned by Citizen. So this is technically a Citizen watch. It's a great looking pilot watch, but I mean, it doesn't, like I said earlier, it doesn't really stir the soul. I mean, it ticks all the boxes for a pilot watch, but this just doesn't make me want to wear it. I mean, it's just, now, you know, if you want that kind of, you know, semi-sterile dial and you want that classic pilot watch look, this is definitely the watch for you. I mean, it's impeccably well made. Of course, you know it is. It's Swiss made, but there are just a few more pilot watches out there that just do a little bit more for me visually. Again, very well made, ticks all the correct boxes for a pilot watch, but it just lacks that certain, I don't know, certain something. What is it, je ne sais quoi? I'm not quite sure. All right, let's take a look at the watch. You're looking at a brushed case. You do have some polished areas right there on the ends of the lugs. The bezel is polished. It's got a mirror finish on it. So do those parts right there on the lugs. But the rest of the case is pretty much brushed. Even the ends of the pushers. Basically, you're just getting that mirror polishing on the fixed bezel. You do have a signed crown, which is really nice. It's an onion style crown. It is screw in. I wish they maybe put some knurling on these pushers. That would have been really nice if they had done that. But I mean, you know, it's a nice case. That dial actually has a little tiny bit of a blue tinge to it. Now, I don't know if that's from the AR coating for the sapphire crystal, but it's got a slight blue tinge. Not just when you see the reflection in the crystal, the actual dial itself is not quite like a pure jet black. Let's take a look at the rest of the dial. You can see those indexes are actually applied. They're not painted on. They're not super thick, but they are applied. The date window is tiny and to me a little bit worthless. I mean, it's so small. They could have made this a lot bigger. It would have been a lot more functional. The hands, I like the hands. They're kind of like cathedral style hands. I like the Arabic numerals. Alpina logo over here on the left is pretty cool. Now, if you haven't already noticed, you don't have a running seconds hand. Those subdials at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock are actually for the chronograph function, so you're not going to be able to tell when the watch is actually running, which for some people is going to be a deal breaker. For me, not a big deal, but it would definitely be nice. There are going to be a lot of anal people out there and obsessive compulsive. They're going to want to know when their watch is running by that running seconds hand, and I totally get that. But for me, it's not that big of a deal. You've got a little red, looks like a little red lollipop, or it's actually like an Alpina logo on the back side of the chronograph second hand. You also have another red triangle up here at the 12 o'clock index. The actual subdials are sunken in just a little bit. I like that. I mean, it's just like if somebody took a team and said, guys, I want you to design me the perfect looking pilot watch, this Startimer would be that watch. Again, doesn't stir the soul, doesn't make me just, doesn't make my jaw drop and go, God, I've got to have that watch. But then again, if you want something super functional and utilitarian, again, this is definitely the watch for you. So let's take a look at the strap. Nice leather strap, a little bit too small for me to actually try the watch on. You do have a signed buckle right there, which is really nice. You've got a movable keeper and a fixed keeper. Y'all know how I feel about fixed keepers. They drive me nuts. But anyway, you've got one and the other. There's your movable, there's your fixed. Tang and buckle. There's the underside of the leather strap. There you go. You can see it's a 22 millimeter. It actually tapers down to 18 millimeter, but it's a 22 millimeter lugs. There's the case back. You know what? Putting a skeleton case back in this wouldn't have been a great idea, because this Valjoux movement, I mean, it's okay to look at, but it's not one of the prettier chronograph movements. So I can kind of see why Alpina just, made a solid case back for this thing. I mean, it looks great. You got the mountains there, a big Alpina logo, 10 atmospheres, sapphire crystal. It shows you the movement number, stainless steel, Swiss made. So, I mean, it definitely gets the job done, but it's not, this really wouldn't have been a good watch for an exhibition case back, just because this particular movement, is not one of the more decorated or, honestly pretty, chronograph movements out there. But, good looking, nevertheless. I like it. Let me see what else here. I'm trying to look at the rest of the case. I do see, let me see here. Yeah, that little bevel is also polished. So you got the side that's polished and the top bevel that's got that mirror polish to it. The side is a little bit more polished than the case, but you can definitely see that mirror polish right here on the bevel of the case where the case meets the crystal. Good looking watch, man. I like that signed crown. In fact, let me go ahead and show you. Nice click action. Solid pop action, by the way. That thing really popped out hard. You might have even heard it. So first position, of course, is for your date. Second position is for your time. Let me go ahead and demonstrate the chronograph function. I'm going to screw this back in. Man, you got to love a Swiss crown, man. God, they really know how to do these crowns perfectly. Again, it is windable, but because you don't have a running seconds hand, it's going to be a little bit hard to set the exact time. In fact, I guess it'd be impossible to set the exact time, since you can't see when the second hand hits the 12 o'clock index. All right, here we go. Here is the chronograph function. You got to press this pretty hard to activate it. Now it's going to fly back instantly, just like all Swiss chronographs do. Stop. Reset. There you go. And, I mean, it's, again, guys, I mean, this is probably the perfect pilot watch so far as looks go. They didn't take any sort of design risks with this thing. I mean, it is what it is. But the thing is, it's so well made. I mean, this is definitely going to be an heirloom type of watch. If you want to get this and then pass it down to your kids or your grandkids, this is one of those type of watches. It's not cheap. It's about $2,000 at your local Alpina dealer. You can find them online, but I always, especially with Swiss watches, I recommend you actually go to the authorized dealer or go to the authorized dealer's website. You don't want to mess around with a Swiss watch, man. I mean, they're very expensive. So, if you want to buy it somewhere else, kind of do so at your peril. I don't recommend doing that. So guys, I mean, I'm trying to think what else I wanted to tell you about this. Again, the date wheel, I want to reemphasize, the date wheel is really small. I wish they would have yeah, I wish it would have enlarged that date wheel, man. And I didn't even know until I was researching this watch that Alpina is actually owned by Citizen. I do a ton of Citizen reviews, and I was like, what? I thought that was actually pretty cool that Citizen is actually the parent company of Frederic Constant, or Constant. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce that again, which in turn owns Alpina. So pretty cool, man. Good looking watch. Now, I would try this thing on, guys, but it's way too small for my wrist. So you're going to want to get this on a bigger either leather strap or maybe pop it on a NATO or something. Let's go ahead and test out the Lume. Let's kill the studio light. Let's kill the monitor. Now, this isn't Seiko's Luma Bright, so don't expect too much. And I can't get the room as dark as I'd want. But this is actually lighting up a lot better than I thought it would. There you go. Not too bad. Not too bad. The hands are nice and bright. The indexes have already faded just a little bit. You don't have any lume on the chronograph hand. You don't have any lume on the sub-dial hands. But I mean, it definitely gets the job done. So there you go. All right, let's turn everything back on. And guys, I'm a little mixed about this watch, as you can probably tell. I mean, I like it. It's incredibly well made. I mean, it just feels solid as you know what. I mean, it's just really solid. I just wish Alpina had taken a few more design risks, maybe a little bit different colorway or something, or maybe some different indexes, maybe a texture on the dial. A texture on the dial would have been really cool. You know, maybe an applied Alpina logo instead of this kind of painted on logo. And, you know, the indexes do look like they're painted, but I promise you they're not. They're actually raised. See if I can give you any sort of indication there. They are raised, just, I mean, it's very small, but they are raised, and the tops of the indexes are painted with the Superluminova. Maybe a different handset, possibly. God, there's so many things they could have done with this watch if they wanted to, but I guess they wanted to play it a little bit safe. They know their customers, so they probably know better than I do what type of person is going to buy this watch. Probably a no-nonsense, no-frills type of guy that's maybe actually a pilot that just wants a good, solid pilot watch. You know, and I get that. I understand that. So, but anyway, again, solid watch, man. Anyway, if you want to head on over to Alpina's website, again, they're about $2,000. Now, you're not going to be able to purchase it on their website. You're going to have to go to an authorized Alpina dealer. Alpina does not sell watches directly on their website, which Omega does now, which is really, really strange. I don't know if y'all have ever noticed that, but if you go to Omega, you can actually buy an Omega watch directly from Omega. I don't even think even Rolex does that. But anyway, go out there and get one if you want one. And as always, remember to like and subscribe and click that notification bell. All of us YouTubers really appreciate it when you do that. And guys, I've got another Swiss watch coming up in about a week or so make sure you stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next review. Take care. Bye-bye.